Hey, we're back at it again, this time with slightly better mic quality. Yeah, I'm using my brother's headset right now because he's out. Don't tell him, he won't know. Alright, this video is gonna be a follow-up to the video I made 4 weeks ago about Legion perks and how at the time I didn't think there was much perk synergy, and now I'm thinking maybe I was a little too harsh on Legion. Overall, my opinion on them has grown quite a bit in 4 weeks. They're not as bad as I thought. The buffs did a lot more for them than I thought. Um, but overall, yeah, I think I definitely mostly underrated perks. Um, and after testing them a little bit more, here's what I found. Starting with perks that I kind of underrated quite a lot. Coup de grace. I don't know what the hell I was thinking with this. Coup de grace is fantastic, especially for M1 reliant killers like Legion. And my complaint originally was that you're losing generators in order to use the perk, which doesn't really matter because Legion's bound to lose generators. So really, I was just complaining about nothing. That wasn't really applicable, and Coup de Grace is fantastic for shutting down tiles. Um, it's a very strong perk, probably one of Legion's best. Another one that I underrated, but I don't think as harshly as Coup de Grace, No Way Out. Uh, while this perk is definitely good and has its moments, I feel like still it's hard for Legion to spread hooks, as is for most killers. Most killers struggle with spreading hooks. It's a lot more optimal for most killers to just tunnel out survivors. And No Way Out, Grim Embrace, these two perks especially, also Pain Res, to be fair. All three of those kind of punish you for not spreading hooks. So, like, yeah, No Way Out's effect is fine. It's all or nothing. But making it to endgame isn't the rarest thing with Legion, and it's a free minute. That's good. That's a free extra minute. if I'm gonna praise Deadlock for giving you a free 80 seconds, I should give praise to No Way Out for giving a free minute. It's good. It's nothing insane on them, but it's good. Uh, Biggest one I think I underrated probably, Unbound. Now, right now, as of today, when I'm recording this, which is Saturday, this perk's just mid. Like it's got its moments, but overall, it's just a worse knockout. However, when the mid chapter drops on Tuesday, this perk's gonna be fantastic. The 10% haste is amazing to have, and if it activates on pallet vaults like it did in the PTB, that's gonna be phenomenal. Unbound with both of those two things might honestly be one of the best perks for Legion when the mid chapter comes. We'll see if they change anything from PTB to live, but I think it's definitely going to be a good pick. Especially with, like, Iridescent Button. Holy shit, that's going to be crazy. Knockout, as I mentioned just now, Knockout's pretty good too. I don't think it's going to be as good as Unbound when the mid chapter drops because it's a little bit more niche. You can't use it when with like pallet breaks, so I don't think you can use it with Eerie Button, which kind of ruins its synergy. But you could also just run Unbound and Knockout together, like that is possible. It's a solid pick on Legion, but I don't think it's that great. Genetic Limits is another one I underrated. However, just like Knockout, I think this is overshadowed by another perk. Languid Touch is so much better. It's a little map dependent compared to Genetic Limits, but there are a lot more maps where crows are everywhere than ones where they aren't. And a lot of those maps where crows are everywhere are also generally maps that usually aren't very good for Legion, so you get a little bit of a bonus there. And, you know, maps without many crows just kind of suck. Like, yeah, but I feel like genetic limits kind of defeats the purpose, because it only works when you actually apply a health state, so it only works at most like once against smart survivors, maybe twice. Languid touch, just better genetic limits overall. Yeah, it's really good. I've been using it a lot on Vecna, who I just got recently. Really, really strong. Surge, I definitely underrated too. It's passive, and I think that's a pretty big benefit that the perk has. It's pretty good. I think there's still a few things that smart survivors will do to counter it. Once they see you have it, they might run away from generators that are still being progressed. But overall, you know, it's whatever. It exists. Another perk that's getting buffed with the mid-chapter is Furtive Chase. Now, unlike Unbound, though, I think Furtive Chase still struggles to be amazing. The undetectable and haste only lasts for 18 seconds, which is a decent amount of time, I guess, but it's not really going to help you get an extra down usually. It will, I think, work really well with a perk that I did underrate, Alien Instinct. Yes, the oblivious aspect of Alien Instinct does hinder your chain stab potential, but if they're injured, that doesn't matter. Just go M1 them. It's that simple. Yeah, it's really just like just go down them with M1. It's really not that hard. But overall, yeah, that's a lot of perks that I definitely underrated. Coup de grace, No Way Out, Unbound, Knockout, Genetic Limits, Languid Touch, Surge, Furtive Chase, and Alien Instinct. That's 9 perks there. All of those, I think, rose at least a little bit on my tier list. Now for some perks that stayed mostly the same, or even dropped. Hex Ruin. I'm so sorry. This perk's not good. Yes, it's passive. Yes, it's it's stackable with Fuming Mixtape. But both of those don't really matter. Reason 1, the base regression rate of Ruin is 0.25 charges per second. And that's what Ruin regresses it at. Survivors repair 1 charge per second. So for every 4 seconds that you pressure someone off of a generator, the survivor can undo it in 1. Now, yes, that is still saving you time. That is saving some time for you. It's better than nothing, but where it gets to be a problem, in my opinion, is this perk being up prevents gen kick perks from working. You can't use pop, you can't use like overcharge, can't use Call of Blind. Yeah, like these perks are bad, but it limits your build variety even more than it already is on this killer. And pairing it with Fuming Mixtape, yes, it's combining 2 bad things and making it okay. Your regression rate is 0.5 charges per second, which sounds alright. You know, it takes 1 second for a survivor to undo 2 seconds of you pressuring, which could work. You know, if you like stab someone and they have to mend, they have to redo, 5 seconds, I guess. Sure. That's only, by the way, while you're in frenzy with Fuming Mixtape. Fuming Mixtape is just a terrible add-on. I don't recommend it. It's really not useful. But like, in another part of Ruin, another issue with Ruin, it can break. It's a hex. And honestly, hex totems seem to be spawning in worse and worse spots recently. I don't know why, but it really is getting frustrating. And on top of that, let's get into the fucking Pentimento changes. Holy shit, what did they do to this perk? It is so goddamn sad seeing what they did to Pentimento. If you're not aware, what they're doing with Pentimento is basically taking it into the back alley and shooting it. Pentimento currently adds a different 30% penalty to a certain effect. One totem is by far the strongest. It's a 30% repair penalty. That's great. Second one, a little bit less useful, especially for Legion. It's 30% less healing, or 30% slower healing, which not useful, but having 2 up means that if they cleanse 1, you still have the repair penalty. Now, what Pentimento is, as long as they don't change it now, as long as they don't buff it from PTB to live, what they're doing is 15% repair and healing penalty for 1 totem active, and then an extra 5% for each extra rekindled totem. I don't think I need to explain why at best, a 10% cut is so bad for this perk. At this point, you might as well run Thanatophobia, and I'm someone who doesn't think Thanatophobia is at all good. I think Thanatophobia is still terrible, especially since if one person's healthy, it's nothing. The perk does nothing. But it's still better than this because you don't have to run hexes in order to activate it. You don't have to keep those totems up in order to keep it alive. It's just passive. Pentimento's not passive. It's genuinely tragic what they did to Pentimento. And I'm really hoping that I'm going to eat my words and they buff it up from the PTB. But at the same time, I don't think that's going to happen. Because behavior has this trend of not listening to the criticisms. Really? Until way later into the future. At most. Sometimes they just never go back. Remember when Eerie Button had a map-wide terror radius that they removed for no reason? Those are good times. Oh, yeah, Pentimento also has the fucking Noed mechanic now. It's 16 if you're in 16 meters of a rekindled totem, you see it. As if it needed that. If you were paying attention, you'd know what totems were cleansed. But I guess, survivors don't have to use their brain. Sorry. I got mad there. Let's go into something that makes me a little bit more sad than anything. Dissolution. I really want to justify endorsing this on Legion. I can see the vision, with Bamboozle, you vault the window, you force them to drop the pallet, you vault the pallet after them, and then cancel Frenzy, they're forced to vault, and then you kill them. I see that, but it is way too specific for it to work. Chain stabs are not doable with this. At the start, if you get chain stabs, by the time you're at the end of your Frenzy, dissolutions run out, and then you can't even use it. Even if you do break the pallet with dissolution, sometimes you're just gonna be denied value from some other thing, most likely live. And, even if you just attacked one person, you just stab one person, and then follow them, and then cancel Frenzy, by the time you've caught up to them after the stab and canceled Frenzy, Dissolution's probably at least a quarter of the way gone, if not half. It before you even get the pallet dropped. Keep in mind, Dissolution lasts for 20 seconds. And they can see that you have it and will play around it by using windows. If they haven't just, vaulted the window with live and run off. And the worst part, I think, is it feels redundant to use Dissolution when you could just use their best add-on, Iridescent Button, and get a very similar effect, more consistently and faster too. Eerie Button genuinely elevates Legion so much higher. Without Eerie Button, they're terrible. They're still like bottom 5. But with Eerie Button, I could see you make an argument for them being at least Bubba level. Which isn't much better, but it's way better than bottom 5. They are really good with Eerie Button, especially with Scratch Ruler too. And Dissolution does not work with Eerie Button, because Eerie Button just does it better. You just vault it yourself and break it. But, sorry, that got really negative at the end there. Overall, though, thank you for recommending so many different things. I probably would never have even thought to try Unbound on Legion if I hadn't gotten those comments. And even those that weren't the most respectful with their comments, looking at you, Ergo, I really, really appreciate all of the comments that I got on that last video. Even the stupid ones, even the silly ones, I really appreciate it. You know, I'm really glad that I have even any kind of audience, as small as it may be. When I saw that my video had reached 2,000 views, it was fucking incredible. So I just want to thank you. Even if you're new to this channel, this is your first video, and you're like, what the fuck is this guy yapping about? Thank you for clicking on this video. Thank you for watching. It really means the world to me that you, even if you clicked on it for half a second, listened to my god-awful voice for 2 seconds and clicked off. Even that, thank you. Because that means you gave me a chance, which I appreciate more than anything in the world. Sorry, that that got a little bit sentimental. I'm gonna show an image here of like the perks I talked about here, and just a general like where I think they sit now on the tier list. Just like to, you know, tie all this yapping up into a little bow. So yeah. It's probably on the screen now. It's wow, isn't that interesting? That's cool. But yeah, that's about it. I don't know what I'm gonna do for future videos. I make a lot of, I'm sure with the clip dumps you've seen, I make a lot of DBD stuff like this. I don't know if I want to do something related to DBD after this, but we'll see. Maybe I'll talk about a different killer than Legion, because I'm kind of burnt out of playing them. Maybe I'll make something about Roblox. I've got some ideas there, I guess. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. That's about it. See ya.